Jersey, welcome to the Papa Report. I'm your host, Joe Wilson, joined today with President, Mr. John Papa. How are you today?
Good, Joe. How are you?
Doing wonderful.
So excited to be here today. I've got a great show going on.
We do have a good show, good topic today. Folks, listen, if you've been opening your statements from the big box firms and kind of that shock moment, John's going to bring some salvation here, give you a little idea of what's going on and what could help you out, maybe, have the retirement of your dreams. John, let's get right into it. I want to, you had mentioned this, the three investment worlds. This intrigues me. Talk to me about it.
Well, let's start right from the beginning first, though, Joe. People come into our office and they'll say, you know, we have this junk drawer mentality of investing, meaning we have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this.
Yeah, pick this up,
pick this up, pick that stuff off over the way, you know, and it's all in a junk drawer.
Yeah.
And in almost every case, it's all invested in Wall Street.
Okay.
So I'll sit with the retiree and I'll say, listen, is that really a diversified portfolio? And they'll look at me like, what do you mean, John?
Okay.
My advisor says I'm diversified, or I haven't talked to my advisor in a while, but I thought we were diversified. I'm like, no, you're really not diversified, because you're in a world that involves risk. Now, having different products in that world just involves different kinds of risk. There could be market risk, interest rate risk, bond risk, fee risk. There's all kinds of things in the Wall Street world. Most people don't understand the two other worlds that are out there. Okay. So as a fiduciary, we're trying to develop a truly diversified plan for a client. And what does that mean? What are the other two worlds? So we'll talk about having money in a bank. Okay.
Right.
We'll talk about the second world of having money with insurance companies. Okay. Now, as a fiduciary who has the client's best interest over our own at all times, we don't believe you should have all of your money in any one of these worlds, because each one of these worlds has their own pros and cons. Okay.
Makes sense.
And we can get into each one of them, and we have to, by law, by our registration, we have to get into the pros and cons of each world and show them how they can benefit or not benefit from it. So our strategy is to say, hey, listen, you're going to put some money into a bank. We have a pot of money to work with. We're going to put some money in a bank for liquidity and emergency.
Rainy day fund.
Rainy day fund, Joe. So, or the AC blows on the house.
Yeah.
I can go to a bank and get money and fix it right away.
Versus having to sell an investment.
Having to sell investments at maybe a bad time, like selling an investment now to fix my air conditioner. That's a problem.
That is a problem.
But we talk about what's the purpose of the money in the bank, okay? And it's safety, can't lose any money.
Right.
It's liquidity, it's always liquid.
Yeah, can get it.
But I also have to know I'm not going to get any growth in that world.
Okay, that makes sense.
So if I'm in CDs, money market, I might get 1-2%, but rates are coming up a little bit. But I've heard from bankers that I know, they're saying it's going to be a long time before interest rates rise in bank accounts.
Well, the challenge with that too, right, is that inflation's running, as our most recent 40-year highs of 8+%.
Right.
If you're getting 2 on a CD, you're kind of losing cabbage.
Right, Joe, but we're not telling people to use bank money for growth. We're telling people to use bank money for liquidity and emergency. And I actually tell a client, don't drive up and down Bloomfield Avenue in Caldwell and say, hey, this bank's giving me this rate, that bank's giving me that rate. I don't care what rate they're giving you. It's there for an emergency.
It's your rainy day fund.
Yeah, you're wasting gas driving up and down Bloomfield Avenue.
It's a little expensive
That's
to do
all
that.
it is for, right? So then we talk about the second world, the hybrid world, right? Okay. No, Wall Street is still pounding away at put all your money in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, balanced portfolios. Everything's great, but you're down 30% in 2022. That's great. That's diversified. That's a complete lie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talk about the middle world called the insurance company world. They offer fixed products where you can protect your principal from market loss. You can also get better rates of return than the banks are giving.
Interesting.
They'll link the interest return in this insurance product to an outside index like the S&P 500. Only the interest potential is linked to an index. The principal is always safe and sound.
Got it.
And the insurance company's reserves. So we'll show that to a client and say, in this bucket, you can't lose any money, so zero's the worst you can do. You might average 4% over time in that bucket. So a little bit of growth. And there's a little less liquidity in there, so you need. That's why you need to have money in the bank.
Bank money.
Right? And then the third investment world is Wall Street, like we've just been talking about for the last few segments. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, REITs, hedge funds, all different kinds of things, variable annuities.
The whole garbage can.
The whole garbage can of investing, right? But why does a person have money there? Because they're looking for growth.
Right.
There's no protection, so that's the con. There's no protection, but it has 100% liquidity. You can get out at any time. You just can't time, because like if you get out today, you're suffering huge losses. So each world has its own specific purpose. And when a client comes in, we'll sit down with them and say, hey, how much do you have in each world first? Let's do an inventory of your assets.
John, it seems like to me, I mean, this is so simple. It's almost like, but it's so profound. No one hears this.
No.
But why are they not hearing this from the big box firms?
Because the big box firms don't want you taking any money out of their products and moving into bank products and insurance company products. They spend trillions of dollars in advertising to prevent that from happening. They don't want you moving money out because they don't make money if your money's not there anymore.
Makes sense.
Right. So a truly diversified portfolio is somebody who has assets in every world.
So not just the different stocks, not the different bonds, but truly the different worlds of saving that are opening up to us. Now, obviously, you can't go all one way or all the other, right? No, people are learning that with the Wall Street bucket right now, where they're down an exorbitant amount because Cousin Eddie told them to go buy this stock, and they did, and now they're losing their shorts.
You know, Joe, we'll see a lot of people are either one or the other. Not many people in the middle because they don't know about the insurance company offerings in their world, okay? We'll have people come in and say, I'm so afraid of the market, I have all my money in CDs.
Yeah.
Or I have all my money in the market because my advisor told me I'm diversified. Well, that's not really diversified. All your money's in the market.
Right.
We've gone over that, you know? So a true diversified portfolio is to have some assets in every one of the worlds for the right purpose. So you know you're protected in some areas. There might be some liquidity issues in the insurance product, but you have money in the bank for that.
So you have the liquidity.
You have liquidity there. And you also need to get growth because let's not forget, people are living longer, so you can't, you know, a 70-year-old could live to 90. So we do have to factor in growth. And that's, you do use the Wall Street world. So we use all three worlds as a fiduciary.
It seems like when you see these big swings in the market, I know you've told me this because you were around back in the financial crisis, that people would be all in the stocks and like they lose their shorts and then they would go all into the banks and they miss the greatest run up ever in the history of the market. This is great because it's allowing you to really segment out a client's assets appropriately tailored plan for their risk.
For their specific need. Exactly, for their specific needs, so that they don't make panic decisions in times like now. You know, they're not panicking. Yes, some of their money is going down a little bit. Most of their money is protected. So if you've got your money split up, say, evenly between the three worlds, 2/3 of your money is not going down.
It's not subject to this volatility.
Not subject to market volatility.
Wow.
Some of it is. And then conversely, when the market's going up a lot, two worlds, the insurance company world and the Wall Street world, will be going up simultaneously, and the banks will stay for your liquidity and protection and emergency. So it's a great strategy to show people how you can sleep at night, live a stress-free retirement, and not worry about market conditions and making panic decisions. That's what we try and help people with at Diversified Planning Strategies.
John, I know you've got a special offer you're gonna give, and I know you've been so busy you can only give this to the first 10 callers. But to the person that's sitting there and opened up that statement from that big box firm, and they're seeing just this record market volatility, maybe they're all in that world of investment. Tell them a little bit about what you're offering them today.
So ladies and gentlemen, listen, if you are using a junk drawer mentality of investing and you have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, all mixed in, you have no idea what's what, how these investments work, then you need to get it clarified in your three worlds. And we'll do that for you in a complimentary report called the DPS report. But first thing you need to do is dial 844-534-4452. And we have our team standing by to answer your calls and come in and see us, and we'll give you a stress-free meeting and do that DPS report.
Folks, this is not the time to be cavalierish about your investments. And what we're seeing in Wall Street right now is volatility that we have not seen back to almost the financial crisis. And it's real and it's violent, and it's important that you take control right now. You owe it to yourself to get a second opinion, a no obligation second opinion, complimentary from a fiduciary, from John Papa. But you have to dial 844-534-4452. Tell the team on the other end you want your DPS report and an opportunity to sit down with John Papa to help you be and stay retirement ready and have that stress-free retirement you deserve. When we come back, we're going to dig into more things all about this crazy world of the markets. But first, a word from our sponsor.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
New Jersey, welcome back to the Papa Report. And we're joined today with President Mr. John Papa, DPS Advisors. John, the last segment, I loved it. You're talking about the three investment worlds. Right. And I love what we're getting into here. You mentioned this right before we were getting ready to come back live, that you're talking about inventorying the assets. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, what does that mean, right? What does inventory assets mean? So we talked a little bit in the last segment about the junk drawer mentality.
Yes,
clients
I love that.
Clients will come in and they have the junk drawer mentality approach to investing. And the first thing we'll say to them when they first come into our office is, hey, don't bring any statements. Let's just get to know each other. Let's see if we can work together. Let's see if you enjoy our company, enjoy working with us, and we'll do the same thing with you. But then when you do bring this junk drawer into our office, the first thing we're going to do, because you cannot make any decisions when you're a cluttered mess.
Right.
So like I know when my wife sends me to the junk drawer to get a scissors or tape or whatever, it takes me a while to find it. So
everything's in there.
So when the clients come in with their statements, we do the first thing is an inventory. Okay, let's find out where all your money is. You think it's diversified, you think it's protected, and your advisor's telling you you're okay, all right? Even though you're down 20% year to date. So let's inventory everything. Let's pull out our three investment world blank sheet and let's fill in your three worlds.
Oh, I love that.
Where do you have all the money? Do you have any money in the banks, Joe? If you're a client, hey, Joe, you have any money in the banks? For liquidity reasons, for emergencies? Do you have any money in the insurance world? Not variable annuities, because that's investments. Do you have money? Obviously, you have money in investment worlds. We see all your big box statements over there. So let's inventory your assets first. So once we get it spelled out where your assets are, then we can talk to you about, hey, what's the purpose of this? Why is all your money in the market? You told me a few minutes ago income was a concern to you. Income in a down market is really bad. You know that, right? So why are all your assets in the investment world? Okay, or whatever the situation might how it plays out. We'll ask why. Why are you in this world or that world, or why aren't you in all the worlds? And most people aren't.
I love that. A couple of things I want to ask you to dive in on here. So when you say $1 million in a down market, you talked about it in the previous segments, the NASDAQ down 30 and the S&P officially in bear market territory. And the retirees are taking money out of that. You hit on that a little bit more. Dive into that a little bit about when you say when you're taking money out of this world.
Right. So, okay, everyone has their money in the Wall Street world because they're told it was diversified and they think they're protected, right? And especially true if it's a qualified plan where they have to take monies out called required minimum distributions.
So an IRA or 401k.
401k, 403b, 457, any qualified plan. Okay. They go off of the December 31st balance. So everybody's investment account on December 31st
at the high
looked great.
Yeah.
Okay, but from January 1st to now, it looks horrible.
Right.
But the IRS says the balance on 12/31 is going to dictate how much you have to take out in 2022. Now, your portfolio's down, all your money's in Wall Street. You can't just sit there and let it ride like a young person could do. You have to do a withdrawal. So if your portfolio's down 30%, you're down to $700,000 on this $1 million portfolio, and you have to pull out $40,000 for an RMD, you now have $660,000 left. You're $360,000 down
oh, my word.
In less than a year.
So educate me here. If I'm at that retirement, I'm not yet. You know, I'm catching up. But
you're in your low 40s, Joe.
Yeah,
Come
right.
on.
So if I'm 72 and I am being forced to take this RMD out,
right.
Do I have an option to just not pay it this year, maybe take more out next year or skip a year? Because who wants to take money out when the market's down? No,
there's no option, Joe. When you hit age 72, you have to do the required minimum distribution. If you don't do that, Joe, you want to know what the tax penalty is?
Oh, who knows? It's the IRS.
It's 50% of what the tax bill would have been. 50% of that. It's actually worse to not take a required minimum distribution than to take it earlier than 59.5.
Wow.
It's only a 10% penalty if you pull money out of a qualified plan.
Because they want their money.
Because they want their money. And if you don't take it out at 72, 50% penalty.
Which is why it's so important not to have all of your investment eggs in just the Wall Street
we'll
bucket.
show clients, we spread your assets around in the 3 investment worlds so that when it's time to do that withdrawal for the RMD, what situation or environment are we in right now? So like we are today, I'm not going to go into the assets in Wall Street to do the RMD distribution. I'm going to go into the assets in the insurance companies and or banks if I have it split up that way. So I can leave my investment assets to recover and rebound and not miss the rebound, and I'll take the money out of my protected assets. So we pick and choose as the situation permits.
I love that. Love that. Now, you brought something else up earlier, and I want you to touch on it. You talked about variable annuity.
Right.
Is not an insurance product. I want to understand that more. Because to me, I think of annuity, I think of insurance.
Right. Because they're offered by insurance companies. Back in the early 80s, the insurance companies wanted to get into Wall Street because the bull market of the 80s, everyone was making money. Nobody was losing. So insurance companies got a little greedy and said, hey, let's join up with Wall Street and make a new product called the variable annuity. What we're going to do is we're going to basket a life insurance policy around a bunch of mutual funds and call it a variable annuity. We'll issue it through an insurance company, but it's not considered a protected product. It's considered an investment account. You deal with a prospectus. It has markets ups and downs and also a ton of fees. So it's not considered an insurance product. It's considered an investment product.
So you could be losing money in that.
You could be losing money. But there is a saving grace, though, Joe. If you put in, for example, $100,000 into a variable annuity on January 1st of 2022, you put in your $100,000. We see what the market's going on, right? And let's say you're down 20% in that variable annuity. You only have $80,000 left, and God forbid something happens to you.
Yeah.
Your beneficiary will receive the full $100,000 that you put in to that variable annuity.
So it's important to have an understanding of what you own.
But, Joe, what people don't know, the insurance companies charge for that. And part of that fee we talked about in the last segment of fees and variable annuities.
How much are they?
It's a mortality and expense charge. They charge 1 to 1.5% per year. So you're paying $1,500 for an insurance policy that protected you for $20,000.
Oh, my goodness.
It's pretty expensive term insurance.
Wow. Wow. So
in my opinion, Joe, probably one of the worst investments ever created.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
John, we got to go to break, so I want you to tell the folks about what you're offering today. I know you got a special offer for folks watching.
Right. So, folks, listen, if you're using the junk draw mentality, which I know a lot of you are, I need you to dial 844-534-4452, and we are going to clean up that junk draw. We're going to inventory your assets so that when we do that, you can make intelligent, educated decisions on how to deal with your retirement so that you can live a stress-free retirement. That's the goal at DPS Advisors. We want to help our clients live a stress-free environment, stress-free retirement. It's a no-obligation, complimentary meeting, stress-free. You come into the office, Sue will meet you, give you a cup of coffee, a bottle of water, whatever you want, some snacks, and we'll have just a nice conversation. So you need to dial 844-534-4452 and get your DPS report and look at the 3 different investment worlds.
Folks, when we come back, we're going to be doing some viewer questions that have been called in off of this segment. So stick around. We're coming back to the Papa Report in just a few moments.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
New Jersey, welcome back to the Papa Report. We're joined with John Papa, president of DPS Advisors. John, you were talking about the three investment worlds, and
right, Joe.
Man, some things that I just can't get away from before we get into some of these questions is that if all of your money is sitting in the Wall Street bucket, if you will, the junk drawer of investment world,
right,
or maybe, God forbid, you have a variable annuity, you called it, that you thought was insurance and you're paying those fees. This show is for you. Honk, honk, your time is up. John and his team are standing by to offer you a DPS report. And so I just appreciate that. I had to go back. That's just amazing to me, the fees that are in that.
We work with that all the time in our office. In fact, I live off this map. I look at it as a road map, and it just guides me through with the clients. They have no idea what we're talking about. And when they see the benefits of splitting their assets up into the three different worlds, you can see the weight coming off their shoulders. Now they can live that stress-free retirement. I know some of my assets, most of my assets are protected. I'm not all in Wall Street. I can go to my grandkids' games and travel the world, and I don't have to worry about what's going on at home.
Yeah, especially in markets like this, where otherwise it's just a stressful time.
Right.
Are you ready for a few questions? We got some.
Sure.
The phone was ringing, so let's go to one here. Alyssa in Whippany is asking, John, our advisor told us that we have a balanced portfolio.
Oh, boy.
They wrote down here 60-40 mix of stocks and bonds. And that by having those bonds, we would be protected from market volatility. We got our last statement. It's ugly. Is this really true or is something going wrong?
Well, Joe, absolutely not. We just talked about, for the last two segments of the show, how diversification and market volatility is ruining retirees. So basically, Alyssa, no. Having a diversified portfolio, a balanced portfolio, is not diversified. Your stocks have market volatility. Your bonds have interest rate risk.
Worst start to the bond market since 1981.
Worst start to the bond market. So the people are seeing their bonds down 10, 13%.
That's crazy.
In 2022.
That's their safe money.
When their advisor told them that was their safe money. So, no, Alyssa, that's not a balanced portfolio. Like we just talked about, having your money split up into the three different investment worlds.
The three worlds.
That is a diversified portfolio.
Alyssa, thank you for calling, and make sure you schedule time for your DPS report. All right, you ready for another one?
Sure.
Kim from Caldwell is asking, John, my husband is going to retire in less than a year. That's a scary time with what's going on in the markets right now.
Right.
He's been at this company for over 30 years. When he retires, should he leave his 401k in the plan at the company? We're also seeing some large losses.
Right. Well, Kim, that's a great question. I get that all the time.
It's a good question.
That's a great question. And my feeling, and most advisors' feeling, is that when you retire from a company, you need to roll those assets out into your own individual IRA. It's not a taxable event. A lot of people under the misconception that I'm taking money out of the 401k, so I'm going to have this big taxable situation to deal with, but absolutely not. When you roll the money over into your IRA, it's a tax transfer. You're just tax-free exchange into the new account, right? But what do you get for that? You're able to have any type of investment plan or investment tool at your disposal. You have so many different investment options out there. You have distribution options that are way better in an IRA than they are in a 401k. And lastly, what I will tell you, Kim, is that when your husband retires from that company, you kind of lose the pulse of the company.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You're not there anymore, so you don't know what's going on. If they're switching investment companies who's managing a 401k, you have no idea. So roll it out into an IRA and make your own decisions, and you'll be much better
And do
off.
it with a fiduciary.
Do it with a fiduciary,
Love
exactly.
that. We got to go quickly. I want to get another question in. Vicky from Mendham is asking, my son is in his early 20s and just started working. He's being told to put as much money in the 401k. Is that a good idea? And we've got about 45 seconds on that one.
Yeah, Vicky, if your son's company is offering a match, I would say he should contribute up to the match. Okay. And then I would take the rest of the contribution and say, if they have a Roth version of the 401k, a Roth 401k, put the rest of your money there.
Got it.
If they don't have a Roth version, then I would contribute to a Roth IRA outside of it. We spent a lot of our time talking about taxes on qualified plans. We want to reduce the taxes later on in life. So advice to young people, fund as much Roth tax-free money as you can get.
And that would probably work if you're in your 30s, your 40s, or even your 50s or on.
That's right.
Because it's right. Uncle Sam's hands are off of it.
Exactly.
John, I know you got a special report for the viewers today, a special offer for the first 10. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about that?
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a lot of questions about what's going on in your financial life, then you need to dial 844-534-4452 and come in and get one of our complimentary diversified planning strategies reports, okay? It will help you in all aspects of your retirement. Taxes on qualified plans, inflation, income gap planning, Social Security decisions. It'll help in every aspect of your life. The 3 investment worlds, reduce risk in your investments, live a stress-free retirement. So dial 844-534-4452 and live that stress-free retirement.
Folks, you get one shot at retirement in these wild market times. This is why it's so important to understand where your investments are laid out in the world that John has just been talking about in this segment. This is the absolute time you deserve a second opinion so you can have that stress-free retirement. So thank you so much for watching today. We appreciate it. Join us next time at the Papa Report.